So next, maybe I just wanted to hear from you here. Let's do this one as we make that shift and try to discuss solutions and strategies. And what are some questions people ask themselves before doing a hard thing? In spite of our best efforts, often learning is not fun. The joys of learning comma placement or multiplying fractions pale in comparison to the fun of video games and social media. In fact, much of the school day is spent doing difficult, unpleasant, and boring tasks. Yet, often how students do these boring and difficult tasks has a great impact on their future. So this is why I wanted to take a moment and hear from you. What questions do you ask yourself before taking a challenge? What if I mess up? Should I really be doing this? Can I complete it? Is it worth my time? Is it worth it? So again, yes, we're calling cognitive functions and strategies. How do I move on after fail? Can I redo it? So again, one of the questions I often come back to is how do we get kids to do hard things? And for me, hopefully you'll see your questions in these, but I've settled on sort of three central criteria that come up repeatedly in the research and my own experience. I call these three primary drivers of motivation the engagement equation. Because again, our goal in schools is to get kids using their creative brain, engaging in learning behaviors of asking questions, making mistakes, and taking chances. So I'm not the best with graphics, but here's how it's great in my head when I make them. So the idea of this graphic is when we are presented with a challenge, we can either approach it as a threat that if we fail, bad things will happen, or as an opportunity to show our skills, learn, and grow. Which of these approaches we take is based on how we answer these three questions. These are the three critical questions the lizard brain will require answers to before we are allowed to talk to the student's creative brain. First, do I belong? Will people laugh at me? Questions like, will people laugh at me? What will my friends say? Or will I be punished if I screw up? The second set questions, does this matter to me? I saw a lot of you guys say similar. I'm not going to work to do something hard if it's not important to me. Then finally, is there something I can do about it? Will it make a difference if I do my best, or am I just going to fail anyway? So, and then below each of these yes or no's, I listed popular terms in the research associated with how the question is answered that are discussed in more detail in the book. So you see here, when you talk about resilience, you're talking a lot about agency. Is there something I can do about it? So helping students understand the actions they can take. I saw some cognitive strategies, those things, giving them skills and tools to understand that they can do something. Do they just believe you're smart or not smart, right? The growth mindset idea. Or do they believe if I work hard and apply strategies, I will grow? And, that helplessness is really, that's a very, very troubling state. The idea in that learned helplessness research is that once we decide, there's nothing we can do about it, our brain shifts from, how do we solve the problem to how do I make the most of it? I'm stuck here. I can't do the math anyway. So how do I make the most of my time being in your class? And you could see how that could contribute to some behavior. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Paul. It was fun getting to make it. Yeah, Marin, I keep struggling with pronunciation of that. I apologize. But yeah, I think, and I think that's what a lot of some of the early mindset work was doing, was teaching kids about their brain and helping them understand that. Oh, good. Well, I'll keep stammering through it, Marin. Thank you. I have more to say about it. So how students answer various forms of these questions is going to dictate the amount of energy they will put into a challenging task. When students are able to answer these questions positively, teaching is fun. Kids are asking questions, taking chances, trying their best, and helping each other. When they answer no to these questions, you tend to end up spending much of the school day on classroom management. Before taking on a challenge, kids need to feel a sense of belonging, agency, and meaning. So another reason I like these 3 questions is I use the acronym BAM, belonging, agency, and meaning. So that's what I am trying to empower the students I work with, is I want them to feel like they are a valued part of a community. I want them to feel like if they work hard and take action, good things will happen. And I want them to have a reason for working hard. Okay, so I'm glad you guys like that. And yeah, that's a real central. So, a lot of times we want concrete strategies, but you guys, teaching is very dynamic and it's very different for each of us. And we have to learn our personalities and how to do that, communicate and build those relationships with our students. I often get upset. Sometimes we act like teaching is, it's just add water. But teaching is an art, and you guys are artists, and it's learning how to, with your style, your personality, and students, to how do you communicate messages of belonging. So, as you think about it, just ask yourself, what are ways I communicate belonging? And what are ways, how do I help students understand that hard work pays off, or that they can grow their brain? Or how do you help kids understand that there is something that it's important? How do you help them connect it to their lives? And we talk, I shared some strategies in the book about how you can use questioning strategies. The real goal is, for example, rather than saying, and I think the goal I use in the book is an example, rather than having students write an essay, tell me about, this person, how this person overcame struggle in the book we just read. In contrast, our goal is to help students internalize that. So what are some times you've overcome struggle? What were things you did? So the more we can help them get their own story and help them write their own story about overcoming struggle and how it, kids will love, we all love talking about community. Usually our sense of purpose is going to be based in our community, in our belonging. So the Freedom Writers is helping them to get to tell that story of representing their community. Why is school important to them? One of the big things in the research around belonging is the idea of values affirmations, asking kids, why is school important to you? What is a time when, you failed you failed at something and then you kept trying at it and overcame that challenge. So helping them have that voice.